Hello and welcome. My name is Adrena. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrena, and I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, I'm going to be answering 3 questions from you guys on my YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and link everything in the description box below, and let's go ahead and jump right into these questions. All right, so for the first question, it is going to be from my How to Make Your Quarterly Estimated Tax Payments YouTube video. Tiffany Hackler says, do you pay your quarterly estimated tax payments using your business bank account or your personal bank account? Please, I am so confused. So I want to address the last piece of that question first, because I feel like a lot of times we get stuck trying to figure out an answer because we don't feel like we have all of the tools available in order to answer that question. So it ends up feeling really overwhelming and really confusing for us, right? I think that happens to all of us. It happens to me too. So sometimes we build this wall and we have decided that, we're not going to pursue, we're kind of stuck. We're not going to go past that wall because we feel like we might not have the tools, might not have the resources in order to answer that question. So I want to make sure that first and foremost, we're checking in with ourselves and we're making sure that when we're working on our finances, we're in a good headspace, because when you start feeling like things are becoming overwhelming and like things are confusing and you don't know where to turn, that's when you start building up that wall. So when you're in a good headspace, it's easier for you to do a simple Google search and say okay, how do I, figure this out? How do I do X, Y, and Z? And, for that, I'll go ahead and list kind of in the description box, I'll go ahead and list who one of my favorite YouTubers is when it comes to tax advice. And so hopefully that will help you in future queries and questions. But of course, you can always come here and ask me questions. I'm happy to reply. So what I want to say next is in direct answer to your question, and it's, do you pay your quarterly tax payments using your business bank account or your personal bank account? So when we start our business, our intention is to make a profit, is to make income. And so once you set that intention, I want you to start thinking in terms of being a business owner. And so when you think in terms of being a business owner, what account would the business owner pay their quarterly taxes from? Okay, so that's going to be the very first thing that I want you to do. Act like a business owner. And when it comes to that, I would say, do your best to pay your quarterly estimated tax payments out of your business bank account. Now, I definitely have made a mistake and paid it out of my personal account before and then reimbursed myself from my business account. But always default anything related to your business. Make sure that comes out of your business bank account. All right, for our second question, we're going to take the question from my YouTube video called "Which version of QuickBooks should I use?" Now, there's actually going to be a couple of questions that I want to address in this video, in this answer, because I want to make sure that everyone knows kind of the intricacies and the details of QuickBooks. Sometimes it might not be outright. You might need to talk with customer service sometimes. And usually if you're paired up with an accountant user in QuickBooks Online, then it's much easier to get your question answered through that accountant. Okay, so I just want to kind of preface this answer with that caveat. So now there's 2 questions that came through. So the first one is from Adam Carrillo, and he says, hello, I buy inventory cash with no receipts, dealing with used clothes from yard sales, swap meets, etc. Which version of QuickBooks would suit me best? He downloaded Self-Employed, but I don't feel it has what I need. Thank you for your time. So I did reply to Adam's question on this video, but I wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more widely expressed. So in my reply to Adam, I said that since he is going to be using cost of goods sold, I would actually prefer him to start in QuickBooks Simple Start, especially because he needs to be tracking all of those little purchases that he makes. So it sounds like he's like a reseller, so he can resell those those close, right? So when he decides to grow his business, or if his business ends up growing, then it's easier to jump from QuickBooks Simple Start to, you know, a different version of QuickBooks Online. Whereas when it comes to QuickBooks Self-Employed, it's really not going to talk to QuickBooks Simple Start or any of the other versions. And that actually addresses the other question that I was going to talk about from Ty Sline. I hope I'm saying your name right. If you start with QuickBooks Self-Employed and purchase QuickBooks Plus in the future, can the info transfer to QuickBooks Plus? And as of right now, as of the recording of this video, it's January 2022. I don't think that's the case. So if you feel like your business is going to be really booming within the next 6 to 12 months, and you're kind of ramping your business up, I would say do not start with QuickBooks Self-Employed and go ahead and start with QuickBooks Simple Start. That's really going to be your best bet when working on kind of like a booming business. All right, so for our last question for today, I'm going to be taking it from my most popular YouTube video here, and it's called Tutorial 2020 QuickBooks Self-Employed. Now, this is kind of an older video, and so it's gained a lot of traction, but I just want to make a couple of points. The first point I want to make is I did an updated video for 2021 because QuickBooks Self-Employed version has updated since 2020, and I got to tell you, I do a lot of gushing with the 2021 version of QuickBooks Self-Employed because I really, really like it. I only have one client using it right now, and so I don't know all of the features yet. And so I'm getting a lot of questions as far as invoicing is concerned and tracking miles is concerned. And I'm going to leave a resource for you guys who are asking about invoicing and tracking miles, because QuickBooks does also have their own YouTube videos. So you can find those answers over there. So I'll go ahead and direct that over to you. And what I want to say about some of the questions that I've noticed, kind of like a pattern that I'm seeing on this particular video, is people just thinking about buying QuickBooks Self-Employed. And so this goes back to kind of like what I was talking about earlier when it comes to like with that we put up a wall sometimes and we can't get past that wall. It's kind of like an internal block for ourselves. And so what I want to say to that is, I say just do it. There are links that you can find online that you can get QuickBooks Self-Employed for free for a month or 2 months, and then cheap for the rest of the year. And if you are still on the fence, I highly encourage you to try the QuickBooks Self-Employed test drive version. And I'm going to go ahead and link that below in the description box, and you can play around with it. Like, you wouldn't have to worry about messing anything up because it kind of like refreshes itself. It's kind of a sandbox area for people who are looking to do something. So if there's something that I don't know how to do, I use the QuickBooks Self-Employed test drive version, and I play around with that in order for me to actually learn what I need to learn. So if you are on the fence about kind of like making the leap of getting QuickBooks Self-Employed or not, and maybe the holdup for you is that you might not have enough money to pay for it, then I have plenty of free resources on my website. You can go to accountingbyadrina.com/beorganized, and that's just going to be a quick download that you can use in order to help you stay organized for your tax return. So this is going to help kind of give you an idea of like what it is that you need insofar as like the big picture of keeping everything organized and together for your tax return. So that is a completely free option, and I want to make sure that you know that it's available to you as well. And then additionally, I'll go ahead and say that I do have a course available on teachable.com. I'm going to leave a link below in the description box as well. It's called Bookkeeping for the Entrepreneur Live. And this is a 6-week live course that we go through everything: your income, your expenses, how to make your quarterly estimated tax payments. And this is kind of more tailored towards people who do not have a bookkeeper yet and who don't know how to use QuickBooks, don't want to use QuickBooks for whatever reason. So this is absolutely available to you. And I do have a discount code for YouTube as well. So I'll leave that discount code below as well. And then you can go ahead and reach out to me and in the comments below and ask any questions that you might have related to bookkeeping for the entrepreneur life. So those are plenty of options for you if you are still on the fence with QuickBooks Self-Employed. If you're feeling gung-ho and ready to make the leap, I have plenty of other QuickBooks videos on kind of like how-to tutorials and things like that. So you can check out my YouTube channel. All right, friends, that is going to be it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one.